Resident Evil 3, the game that is the sequel to Resident Evil 2. To be honest, there is not a lot of background for this game. Resident Evil 2 was really popular, it sold a lot of copies, so it had to have a sequel. And this feels a lot like that. Not like a game that wanted to improve over its predecessor or a game that wanted to add a new layer to the franchise. It's just a game that had to exist. And because of that, it's less ambitious than its predecessors. It doesn't bring a lot of new ideas or improvements to the formula. The main addition, if not the only addition, is Nemesis. And as a terrifying monster to generate fear and discomfort in the player, is very effective. The idea is to have a menacing presence constantly looming over the player, but that's a double-edged sword. We'll encounter Nemesis every 10 minutes or so in the game, and no matter how scary something is, repetition will eventually cause fatigue. Halfway through the game, it stops being a threat and it becomes an inconvenience, something that just exists to slow down our progress in the game. So even if I love Nemesis, I have to admit it becomes somehow annoying. Then the only thing left is the action. But because Nemesis is always around, the game must give us enough resources to face him off, enough healing items, enough ammo, so normal enemies are not so much of a challenge. The game is oriented more towards action than survival. It doesn't try to create too much of a suspenseful ambience. Nothing take out the survival horror vibe than a big ass explosion, and we have a couple of those in this game. The level design is linear, a succession of different areas with small loopings or branching paths when we need to solve a puzzle. It may sound as a deficiency, but actually it fits perfectly with the type of game Resident Evil 3 is. Being action-oriented, it doesn't make a lot of sense to have the player running around back and forward looking for clues. It's a departure from its predecessor, but the linear approach keeps the action going smoothly, the player facing new enemies, and most importantly, keeps the plot moving. In contrast with the first two games, this one is exposition heavy, not in terms of having a lot of dialogues or cutscenes, but giving a lot of information about the Resident Evil universe. This is the game that established the T-Virus and its reach. It established Jill and Chris as the main characters and what are they gonna be doing in the next entries, and established Umbrella as the main antagonist of the franchise. The last two games set Umbrella as a corporation doing something illegal but not necessarily evil. They just happen to be developing biological weapons without the right papers. This game acknowledged Umbrella is evil and it's very influential. So gameplay wise, it's not a step forward, still our classic Resident Evil formula, but with a little more action all around. We still have tank controls that are clunky and not very intuitive. We still have our fixed camera, which is not the best one for most confrontations. We still have to walk around looking for some items around the level so we can unlock a door or solve a puzzle. Puzzles are a little better this time, I have to admit it. Instead of just grab the thing, take it there, grab that thing, take it there, we have to use our brains to keep advancing, just simply walking around. And we still have to go back to the item box every so often because we run out of inventory space. But story-wise, some really important things are taking place. The destruction of Raccoon City happened in this game, and that's a core event for the Resident Evil franchise. So if you have any interest in Resident Evil lore, you will find this very interesting. But I cannot ignore this is just more Resident Evil 2. Well, Resident Evil 2 is very good, so this is still enjoyable and entertaining up to some point. After playing 1 and 2, it's unavoidable to feel a little fatigue, but the game is short enough, it only takes about 5 hours to complete. Being fair, I think Capcom did what it could do on the hardware they were working on, but in all honesty, if you have the time, I will say this game is definitely worth a play. Next time on Video Games Years Later, we'll have Resident Evil Code Veronica. Let us start the descent. the descending spiral. Oh shit. If there's a game you would like me to talk about, leave it in the comments. If you like what you see, please subscribe, give it a like, leave a comment, and share all the love we have here on the Trivial Game Show. Don't be a stranger, and see you next time.